Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry I've been a little bit quiet on here with uploading. Life has been a little bit hectic since coming home from Bali, getting straight back into work, and Christmas time is coming up super quick. But I will be back into my weekly videos. So today's video, I wanted to go through my journey, my story, mostly to do with gut health, self-esteem issues, and kind of how I overcame that, because it's been a long time coming, this video. I remember on my first video I said I wanted to open up about it, and this is like the perfect platform to do it, and I just have never gotten around to it, to be honest. So I think it's a really taboo subject and people feel quite alone out there, and the more I open up about it, the more I find that other people are messaging me and being like, oh my god, I'm in the same boat and I felt so alone. And I just want to let you know that you're not alone, and it is so common. And I have struggled with gut health issues since about, I think the first time would have been grade 7, that I should have kind of been aware of what was going on, but I didn't really understand it back then. No one was really talking about gut health back then either. If you really think about it, it's kind of become more discussed in the recent years. It's very much a taboo subject, or used to be. So I always felt really alone, and I thought, you know, like, what's wrong with me? Why is all these things happening to me? I thought I was just, there was something seriously wrong with me. And it kind of led me to start hating my body. There's not only a lot of physiological things that I kind of went through, but a lot of psychological as well. And I really believe it's what led me to the fitness industry and to where I am now. So let's get right into it. Start from the very beginning, start from the start. So in primary school, everything was all good and well, happy, healthy kid. And then high school is probably where things started to get tough for me. I'm sure, like many others, I had a lot of internal struggles, especially the last few years of high school. Actually no, right from probably like grade 9 all the way through, like on and off. It's hard to really talk about because I don't fully understand everything I was going through and the feelings I was feeling, and it was just an internal struggle. And I suppose a lot of people don't know this about me because I don't spotlight it, I don't talk about it a lot, because I don't want to let it define me. But I've definitely always had like anxiety, and this part of me was very self-destructive. I got really good at pushing people away and isolating myself. It's like I was stuck in this tunnel and I didn't want to be pulled out of it. So I just guess for a while there I was just very lost. I've always had a bit of an internal struggle, and you know, like many other kids growing up in high school is when it all really hit me all at once. And you know, I had really bad self-esteem. I was really self-conscious of what I looked like. I was really unhappy with what I looked like. I felt really ugly. Then it's kind of when I started having gut health issues, so throw that into the mix, and I was wondering like what's wrong with me, and just a bunch of other things. I had a few years just really tough when I was just really unsure of who I was. I'm sure like many other people growing up in high school, and you know, back then there was still social media in high school, probably not as bad as it is now, and I feel like that would be really tough growing up and going through high school now. But yeah, I just was struggling a lot with anxiety, emotional struggles that I was going through, and I was really confused and I didn't know what was going on, and it was all just really difficult. And it's even hard for me to talk about now because it's just one of those things, and I think everyone kind of goes through it when they're younger and they don't know how to deal with their emotions, and you throw anything else on top of that and it just all kind of tumbles and becomes this massive thing. And I kind of felt like I was stuck in that for quite a few years. And I think it's important to note, I was actually taking the pill for about 7 years for my skin, because I got really bad acne in high school. I started getting really bad skin probably in grade 7. So I started taking the pill for my skin in grade 8, like straight away in grade 8 on the pill. And I just found that when I came off the pill, when I got out of school, I think I went off of it in like when I was 18 or something, I have never felt more clear-minded and better than that. And I was just having issues with it. Not everyone's like this, but honestly, when I went to my doctor and we tried all different pills and stuff, like me being on the pill is just not a good mix. I was just really emotional. Sometimes like 1 minute I'd be laughing like with my friends, the next I'd be like screaming at everyone to get out, and I was like really upset and I was crying and I was just a psycho. No, I was just like an emotional mess, and I just felt really down all the time. And yeah, I just guess I never used to talk about it to anyone. So it's kind of, yeah, like I said, it's just really confronting for me to think about, because when I think about Mickey then to how I am now, it just feels like a completely different person. And yeah, I just didn't have a high self-esteem or self-worth. I wasn't confident. I thought like, the things that I used to say to myself in my own head were really not good. And I guess that is what I preach now. It's so important to have a good, loving relationship with yourself, because the things that you say to yourself is what is most important. And if you're not happy with who you are, then that's a serious problem. And it's just something that you need to work on. And I guess over time, obviously, things have like healed, and I've really spent more time on like self-worth and all that type of thing. But that kind of leads me into how I got into fitness, because as cheesy and as corny as it sounds, fitness really gave me a lot of empowerment and self-worth and a feeling of accomplishment and a feeling strong, and not only feeling strong externally but really internally as well. It just really gave me this motivation. And yeah, some of you will probably think this sounds super cheesy, but for me, fitness was always an outlet. I mean, I was always a pretty skinny kid. Yes, I was skinny fat because I used to eat like so bad, which led me to the gut health issues. I will go through that as well, that aspect of it. But yeah, I was skinny fat, so I was always still really unhappy with how I looked, unhappy with my shape, and you know, even having social media and other people, like Tumblr was really big back in the day. That kind of all played a role in like how you should look and, you know, all these types of things. After I finished school, you know, still going through some struggles, but getting a bit better, we had me starting to get into fitness. So I was like, okay, there's something I can do to actually have an outlet and release some stress and anxiety, because I was always a really stressed out kid. I've got anxiety. I'm a really highly strung person. And so I started doing that, and of course I'm a 0 or 100 type person, all or nothing, and I started taking it to the extreme. I cut out all carbs. I was actually looking back at a food diary that I had. I was just very uneducated. I was eating for breakfast like, okay, this is literally it, like 2 eggs, and then I'd have a green tea for morning tea. For lunch, I'd have like 1 tin of tuna, and then I might have like some avocado or tomato, and then afternoon tea I would have a green tea again, and one of those low carb, like a really small low carb bars. And yeah, that's pretty much all I would have. And at dinner I'd try and just get like sliced ham and just put avocado with it, or like just a little bit of avocado, or just like tomato again. I don't know, just random ass stuff. Anyway, of course I would binge. So I try and be all healthy and good, and I was like, yes, I'm on track, I'm killing it, I'm being so clean, so clean. And then I just didn't understand food, I didn't understand anything, and I just then got caught in like a really big mind fuck, because I thought I was improving my health and lifestyle, and I was getting fitter and blah blah blah, and I was just, yeah, what I did was cut out all carbs. And then when I started to reintroduce things, I would just like bloat up like crazy. My body would have a really hard time digesting things. Mind you, then I would go to the extreme and eat like a loaf of bread, like a loaf of bread. I used to love these soft center cookies that I got from Woolies. they're really good. But again, gluten, like all these things, I didn't realize I shouldn't be having gluten. Again, that's just me personally, found this out later. So for a while it was just like a bit of a struggle. I was doing a lot of cardio, clean eating, you know, that type of thing. I actually got quite skinny there for a little while, and then I guess I was kind of in a relationship where he got me into fitness, but I wasn't allowed to eat any chocolate and I wasn't allowed to eat all these things at night time. So there was like a period of time there where I really stuck to it, and I think that was quite damaging on my body, to be honest with you. So then after a while, I started to like kind of go out of that phase and start listening to like podcasts and start learning more and, you know, self-educating. I was really interested in it until I eventually actually did my PT course and started doing courses. And mind you, when I did my PT course, I was working full-time as a senior paralegal, studying law. Like my eye was on the prize. I was going to be a lawyer. And what happened was, once I started getting educated and I started implementing that into my routine, and I started realizing how good your body is meant to feel, and when I started doing weights and accomplishing like goals and, you know, getting stronger and just feeling so good in the gym, like getting up of a morning, changing my morning routine, going to the gym, feeling amazing all day rather than like sluggish and pulling myself around, eating properly, or at least eating more food, mostly. Like that's what I really did. And then over the next few years, like that's kind of what happened. And after I did my PT course, I actually moved to Sydney, where I am here. And I decided to leave my full-time job in the law firm, leave my degree, leave all of that to see how I would feel, yeah, being in the health and fitness industry. And I always used to think, oh, I'm not going to do that. Every person is in the health and fitness industry. But once I realized that I was stuck in this really vicious cycle for so long of feeling so shit and like, how come I can't stick to this diet? Then I'd binge eat. And it makes you feel like so guilty and so shit and like you can't accomplish anything. If you've been stuck in that cycle, just know it's not meant to feel that way. And that is why I got into the industry, because I want to stop that cycle, and I want people to realize that you shouldn't be under eating and overtraining and stressing your body out. Like I really, I guess, did myself a disservice there for many years. And I wish I knew like back when I was 18, because it would have saved me like 3 years of like fucking up. But anyway, did it, so good learning curve. And yeah, throughout all this time I was still having gluten and all that type of thing. I was still eating all the food, so I was still getting really bloated. And now when I talk about my gut health, I've always had bad skin, bloating, digestive issues, all that type of thing, and it's been so like hit and miss. I've seen doctors, I've seen naturopaths. My sister kind of has the same or similar thing. She's seen people, we've had all the tests under the sun, we've done intolerance tests, we've done all the tests, and because we actually have like anxiety and stuff run in our family, we've been put on antidepressants, we've done, like you name it, we have done all these things. And yeah, the doctors mostly, so they ruled out everything and then actually diagnosed me with IBS, which is pretty much just a diagnosis that they give you when they have no idea what it is. So there's that. I did like food diaries, so which was actually really good because I figured out like some of the foods that were affecting me. But the main thing that really helped me was going and seeing a naturopath. And oh my God, I was so not sure when I first went, because I was like, oh, you know, all this witchy stuff. It just surprised me so much. Like when I went and saw my first naturopath, how much he just did a full examination on my body and stuff, and then was like, he's like, you feel this way, don't you? And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like he was just speaking to me, and he's like, yeah, we see this a lot. And I know that sounds like crazy, but I was like, oh my God, someone's finally giving me some answers and some hope. And yeah, then I started working with a naturopath from then. So it was probably like when I was 19. So for me, when I was going and seeing the naturopath, my pancreas was really inflamed, same with my intestines, and my pancreas actually wasn't releasing enzymes, so I didn't have digestive enzymes, I wasn't digesting properly. There was a stage where I actually didn't really have much stomach bile as well, which is what breaks down your food in your stomach. So yeah, mine's definitely been like a functioning type thing. I'm not entirely sure what it is still, because I haven't been given like a diagnosis, but I have gut dysbiosis. So it is like when you have not a good level of gut bacteria in your stomach, and that could have been from high school. I had a lot of antibiotics, I was really stressed, I was trying to get a really good OP because I wanted to be a lawyer, all that type of stuff, and then I would get like a throat infection. I'd take a lot of antibiotics, and yeah, I took a lot of antibiotics in high school, and I kind of just must have killed off like all my good gut health, and different foods as well. So I found out I have a gluten intolerance. There's random foods that affect me. So over the years, I've kind of figured out my trigger foods. So like apples, cannot for the life of me have apples. They make me so bloated and my stomach's so sore, lethargic. When I have gluten, I literally like just fall asleep. I get so sore and bloated, and then I fall asleep, and then for the next about month, I'll get really bad skin. I'd get bad skin like on the back of my shoulders. But see, at the time, I didn't realize that this is why. I didn't understand that, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm disgusting. I have bad skin on my shoulders. I'm huge all the time. I'm heavy, I'm lethargic. Like, I had no idea. I was so oblivious. And yeah, so here I was just thinking I had all these issues. They keep testing me for like diabetes and stuff like that, because apparently my symptoms would say that I have that. I don't have pre-diabetes or anything like that. So I don't know, it was something to do with my gut, and now that I've kind of balanced it out, it seems to be so much better. Like, it's managed now. I don't really have an issue, except when recently I had antibiotics and I was really bloated again and had digestive issues for like 2 weeks, which is really uncomfortable. And you go to the gym when you have that. You try to just do your day-to-day stuff, but you just feel so heavy. Like, each step I was taking was like a mission. So the other thing that I think really helped me was knowledge. When I started doing like my PT course, my nutrition courses, even just learning more from other people, listening to YouTube videos. I know that there's a lot of weird stuff out there, but if you get onto some good sources and reading papers and stuff, it's really, really interesting. And once I started to understand the why, I actually understood how my body was working. It made sense. And I was like, oh my God, it all makes so much sense. How did I not see this before? And then I just started really working with my body rather than against it. And everything after time just started to fall into place. But just know that you're not alone, and it's not abnormal to get bloated. What you need to do is really take care of yourself. Listen to your body. Those things I really recommend. So pre and probiotics for gut health. L-glutamine actually helps heal your intestines and your gut, so that one's really important. L-glutamine is used really widely for like muscle recovery as well, but I take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. I found that that has helped a lot. And yeah, when I have something and I feel like my stomach's not really agreeing with it or not digesting properly, I will have my digestive enzymes. And then the other side is still my anxiety side. So when I'm really stressed, I'll have digestive and inflammation issues. So I need to make sure that I'm getting 7 to 9 hours sleep. That's a big one. Like, people underestimate sleep, and I used to get like 4 to 6 hours, and I used to just be like, I don't know, I used to be okay on it, but obviously not, because my body was just like so drained. And that's like probably why I wasn't digesting properly and all these types of things. I was very stressed. My body was always really stressed out. So another one is stress. Make sure you're meditating, having long baths. I usually take like a magnesium bath. I'll do low intensity steady state walks outside. I'll try and meditate. I still haven't got that one down pat yet. Ugh, I'm trying. Breathing techniques. I actually got given these from my doctor, and I do use breathing techniques. I fun fact, am a terrible flyer. Flying can also disrupt your stomach, and I hate flying, and I like actually have panic attacks on the plane, so it's really not fun for me. So like breathing techniques, and they do help. I'm not gonna say it fixes it, but it does help a little bit. And then number one goal, piece of advice, is to go see a naturopath. So make sure that you're eating very fibrous foods. So if you're eating junk and you're eating shit and it's all processed, your stomach is not going to have a good time breaking that down. So yeah, a food diary as well is really, really helpful. And really being in tune with your body and how you're feeling after meals and that type of thing, that's really important, because I think a lot of people don't even realize how good they're actually meant to feel when they feel good, because for so many years they've just felt sluggish and bloated and gross. So that's kind of like my story with gut health, and how I've overcome that is, honestly, it's taken me years, so many years, but I'm finally in a good place and I'm in a good routine, and as long as I'm not having those foods, like my trigger foods, I'm generally pretty good. If I do have issues, I'll supplement with my HCl tablets or my digestive enzymes. I take my pre and probiotics, glutamine, all that type of jazz, and that really seems to help me, and as well as not eating processed stuff. So I'm not a clean eater, but most of the time, that's why I like living by the 80-20 rule. I will eat unprocessed foods, and that works really well for me, because if I eat processed junk or gluten or packaged foods, it just doesn't mesh well with me, and I get bad skin, bloating, all that type of jazz. So just know, if you're currently going through this, it's gonna be okay, but the things that you can do at home is drink a lot of water, manage your stress, manage your sleep, start taking pre and probiotics, supplement with L-glutamine, because that's going to assist anyway. It's harmless, really. Magnesium, I felt, was another one that really helped me. You can take magnesium baths. There's a lot of things that you can do to help for the meantime, but ultimately, I think you need to really take a look at what's going on, recognize that you're not meant to feel this way, and yeah, I guess really make sure that you get to the bottom of it. And I know it can be disheartening when people, hell, I had doctors putting me on antidepressants. Yes, I have anxiety, but I've actually just been to Bali and they put me on antidepressants. I get that they're linked and it's like your second brain, but I was like, I know my body and I know what I'm feeling like. And I went to a naturopath, got some test done, and it turned out like I had a stomach bug, number one, and my gut was completely out, and we fixed it so quickly. So with your gut and that type of thing, I always like to say doctor is more for like if you're dying, so life or death type scenarios, and your naturopath is about feeling good, feeling how you should, optimizing your health. And whenever I have anything to do with my gut or anything like that, naturopath will be number one place that I go. But anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. It is getting super long and I feel like that was all over the place. I didn't really like organize how I was going to do this video. I just thought I'd sit down, let it come out organically, hope that it wasn't too backwards, because you're definitely not alone, and I just really think it's important for everyone to know that nobody's perfect and we all go through these things, and to reach out if you're ever feeling like you're struggling or you're going through things and you just feel like you don't have anyone. So I will be back into making my weekly YouTube videos again. Sorry, I've been a bit MIA lately. So if you had any video suggestions, anything you needed some help with, if you wanted to see more about training and nutrition, please comment below. I can also do like a proper just bloating and gut health video and just discuss a little bit more. Like this was more like my story, and I can just discuss more about gut health and what was exactly happening and like how to overcome that type of thing. But just know you're not alone. Bloating is completely normal. There's a whole range of reasons why you might be bloating, but if it's something like to a more serious extent, just know it's not meant to feel like that. Go get it checked out, listen to your body, and yeah. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give a big thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you guys next week in my next video.